All right. Sure. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Rytown Parks Commission. As you know, we only have 3 members in attendance so far. Commissioner is on his way, and Joe Carvin, also, who happens to be the supervisor of the town of Rye, he's on his way. But we can't conduct any official business, but we can still have comments from the public and still receive management reports, but we can't take any official action without a quorum present. So if that being the case, and because we know that the weather is very inclement, and I'm sure people want to go home at a decent hour this evening, why don't we just start with the comments from the public? So is there anyone from the public that would like to make a statement? Yes. Hi, how are you? Sure.
There is a supporting document.
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Megan McGrady. I'm from the American Cancer Society, and I've come before you all before.
Yeah.
We had our Relay for Life event June 8th through June 9th this past year at Rytown Park, and it was wonderful, beautiful. We had, as you can probably see in your handout if you choose to look at it, we raised a little over $41,000. And we had 110 people actually participate in the event, and we had 200 plus come and go throughout the night. So we had about 3.5 months to plan that, and I'd say given that it went very well. We had volunteers from the community and everything. So I'm actually before you tonight to request that we are able to use Rytown Park next year for our Relay for Life event.
Do you have a date in mind?
Yeah, June 7th through June 8th, which is a Friday to Saturday. And I know, obviously, you can't vote on anything right now. And from what I understand, nothing has been planned for Rytown Park yet. Any events have not been planned there yet. But we would like to get on the calendar as early as possible to start gathering the Rye community a little earlier this year.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yes, sorry.
Perfect timing. So now we can have the...
Sorry.
Hello, Supervisor Carvin. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
That's quite all right. Well, this is the first. We did the pledge, and we're just starting to talk about the Relay for
How
Life.
was your holiday?
Good, thank you. The Relay for Life that took place last year in June.
Good, nice to see you
And-
again.
Yeah, nice to
Yes.
see you too. Thank you.
So just to bring you up to date, is advocating to have it once again.
Beautiful.
And I know that I was there last year, and it was, for the inaugural event, it seemed like it was a very good attendance, obviously 41,000. And as I recall, we only voted in February or March
Right.
for the actual date, so you didn't have as much lead time. And I know that you're trying to do more relays throughout the county.
That's correct.
Right. So I think it's
Beautiful,
great.
that's great. We'll have another efficient meeting now that you're chairing it.
So,
Perfect, great,
Yep.
thank you.
But
so I want to get it on the calendar. There are no conflicts, Bishop. Were there any complaints at all last year for the relay? Because it's important to articulate it so that if we do it again, that whatever negativity can be corrected.
I'm not aware, I mean, we weren't given any complaints. I don't know what the city of Rye may have received. I do know there was some concern on the part of the local residents that, there were hundreds of people in the park at, midnight and stuff like that. But we did not get any complaints, from anybody.
Well, no one told me anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But it says something, I guess, because if it was something catastrophic, we would have. But I'll certainly inquire. It probably wasn't anything that would prevent it from happening again, but with all this lead time, we could probably work on any minor wrinkles.
Right.
When was it this past year?
June 8th.
June 8th to
Oh,
June
so
9th.
It's on a
same
Friday,
weekend.
and
Okay.
you're
Yes.
expecting also to do it on a Friday night
Yes,
again.
the 7th through the 8th. And
Right.
full disclosure, around 10 o'clock, one staff member from the park did drive up and just asked we turn the music down a little bit and said that somebody had called from around, and we did, and it wasn't a problem at all. It was around 10 or 11, I believe.
Does staff member have any here?
Yeah, and I will say the staff was really wonderful to work with. And we just love the location. So
It is
we
a
would love
great
to come
location.
back. It was absolutely beautiful.
Great, well, I know we're very supportive, and I want to thank you for everything you did, continue
think-
to do, and I'm sure it's
Yes,
just a matter of getting the dates figured out. Do we need to formally vote on this? Or
I guess we should, just
Yeah,
to,
I wanted to just ask, what was the fee? We remember
Yeah, we're going to have to,
300? I
well,
think that was,
when we look at the budget, we may be looking at those fees, so asking early is great. I think, won't be a problem, but that doesn't guarantee the same price, so we'll have to, we're going to review fees, because we're trying to adopt a more comprehensive
Yeah.
way of doing business.
That can be worked out as long as you're not going to put it through the roof, thousands and thousands of dollars.
I think we're still cognizant, even if we do
Yes, sure.
adjust, I think we're also always cognizant of this as being a not-for-profit and a 501c3. We understand what the cause is
Okay.
and what
Great
the
cause.
dollars raised are used for.
Okay.
Excellent job. Great
Yeah,
job.
great,
job.
thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you.
Great, thanks so much.
So, well, I mean, do I need to wait for an official vote? Because we're going to start.
Well,
to
why don't, so,
recruit from
well,
Motion is second to have it for June 7th?
7th through 8th.
7th.
Yes.
7th and 8th,
okay.
So moved?
second, I second?
yeah.
Salanitro?
Yes.
Okay, and second, Carvin?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Sach?
Yes.
Commissioner Salanitro?
Yes.
Commissioner Feinstein?
Yes.
Commissioner Carvin?
Yes.
4-0.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
yeah.
And that will be the 7th, Friday and Saturday morning, right?
Back to the minutes.
Right. Okay.
It's nasty.
Terrific.
It's nasty. out there.
It's
It's
like
going to get
it's the end of the
rid
world. It's
gonna get worse.
Oh, wow. Thanks. All right, we'll keep this quick then.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Once you get comments, then go back to
Yeah.
minutes.
So, any other comments from the public?
That's what Linda said.
Please. Yep.
Linda Wells, Friends of Rye Town Park. Just a few updates. As you may or may not know, the pond gate went in this summer, but our group has a few issues with the installation. And so we are working with the company to redo the gate. So if you should see it back to its old condition of being open and unprotected, it will be a short term, I assure you. We've also started working with park staff on the signage issue in the park. Beyond the welcome sign, we're now talking about possibly sponsoring an information center that would be near the security office, where eventually, we hope, a decent map of the park will be, and that it will be housed with some announcements and event news and things like that. So there would be the start of a centralization of park information for visitors to see in a very visible spot. So we're investigating that. And we've also sat down with the pond management company with park staff to talk about how we all felt the season went this year. And I think the general consensus was that the treatment situation has to be more aggressive and started earlier next season. But we're talking about a more comprehensive approach to it, including possible new aerators, things like that. But that's just in the discussion stage. So I'm sure Bill will ask you to have that on the agenda at some point. And our group is now just revisiting the idea of possibly doing a tree inventory. We had talked about doing that as part of our master plan, which I think everyone would agree is important. We know one tree came down so far in the storm today. I don't know what else lies ahead, but having a plan in place, an inventory and then a plan in place would help us make decisions as to whether this tree should be considered as something we want to replace, or in like kind, or with something else. So we're just starting that process and looking into the cost of doing that, because it's been a while since we had a quote from Bartlett Tree to do this for us. So we'll keep you posted in terms of affordability and whether or not we can do it. And from an aesthetic standpoint, during one of our meetings this past weekend in the park, we suggested that maybe the large dumpster be moved a bit so that it's not so highly visible to park visitors from the pond side. I don't know if you were down there, but when it's draped with garbage bags and it's hot, it's very unappealing. So I think we can
Have you-
come up
have you
with
talked to
a
staff
little bit.
about moving it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what we talked about doing is just moving it into the parking area a little bit more so that the natural buffer that's there now would hide it at first glance. And during the season, they could access it from the parking lot side to dump it.
Perfect.
So
Great.
it might help a little bit.
Terrific. Good.
Short term, but
Great. I'm sure the staff can help with that.
Can I just have one question on the pond gate? I hope it's nothing too out of the ordinary that needs to be fixed, but
no.
it didn't sound like. But in the interim, I would imagine that you would put some temporary.
Yeah, we're
gate
going
there.
to, I spoke to
Or
Frank
fence.
DeLeo, we're just going to do chicken wire with
Great.
the stanchion, just like
Sure.
we have flanking the park now, the
Great.
pond now, so
Good luck.
it will be protected.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks
That's
very
it.
much. Other comments from the public? Okay. Let's look, did you approve the minutes already?
No,
Okay.
min-
No, you were waiting for, we
Yeah.
had a quorum for that. Okay, any comments on the minutes?
Well, it's nice to be missed, and I notice I'm not listed there as being absent, and I was absent. So the only thing I would say is to note that. And,
Well, you
Yeah,
were not
right.
present, so you're not on the list of presence there. Okay.
Anything else that's duly noted? Anything else? I get a motion to approve the minutes as modified?
So moved.
Okay, second.
All in
All right.
favor?
All in favor?
Yes.
well, I won't vote, but
Yep. Okay, great. Management reports. Fred, how we doing down there? Just,
So far,
it's been a while since I've been down.
it's a shame what happened to that gate, but because it's a great addition to the park. So we'll temporarily put some, we call it chicken wire, but it's fencing. And we're discussing the possibility of putting some kind of a fence in front of the garbage there. There's not really any other place we can put it. We could possibly move it back a little, but I believe there's some logs behind it or something, or around. We can make some adjustments. Yeah. I just want to say that, very quickly, that April to April 11th and 12th, between 2012 and 2011, we had a plus balance of 12,600. May to May, we were in the black 17,800. June to June, we were in the black 33,000. July to July, we were down 79,000. August to August, we were up 52,000. September through the 16th, we were approximately up $1,300. Now, totals for the year till now are 2012, 774.8, and 2011 was 737.7. That leaves us with a plus side of 37.1. If all goes well, we got a very good shot at breaking even for the first time in 50 years.
Whoa, whoa,
Or
whoa,
more.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Or
Whoa,
more.
whoa. Every year we say this. I want to caution. She kept me on
Caution.
video. I want to caution the viewing public. You have the Joe Carvin caution here. Every year we say this, and we always end up with a $100,000 deficit. So I think it's going to be between 0 and 100, and we're going to work very hard to minimize that loss this year. But let's
Dollar
prize
for
on
dollar.
the upside rather than the downside. So
Yeah,
somewhere
do-
between 0 and $100,000.
Dollar for dollar. But the
Every year.
key
Freddie, go
phrase
ahead.
there, we have a good shot. That's the
Good
key
shot.
phrase.
Okay, well, I want the viewing public to know.
Yeah.
Expect $100,000. I think we budgeted a $100,000 loss, didn't we, Paula? 75,000 loss.
I think
So
we're going to come in under
hopefully
that.
hopefully we'll do better than this budgeted $75,000 loss. And how was the weather this year? Did we do our weather analysis, Mr. Arcaro?
Not yet.
All right, but what's our rough feel? Was it better than last summer?
I think we had a few more sunny days,
Weekends.
and my
Because
point.
the holiday weekends, we did lose. I know we lost one day, July 4th weekend, and we know
Yeah, but
lost
we-
one day, Labor Day weekend.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
we took in more than we did last year because we lost it last year also.
Right. That analysis would be interesting.
Overall, the plus 37,000, and then we've come in about between 20 and 30,000 under budget for employees, for personnel. So with those two factors going in, that's why I say we have a very good shot. Then there's other factors that need to be added to that.
Does that mean we're not paying anybody in September, or is that just...
Only people in September are one security guard during the day and one at night. Aside from that, basically, we're beginning to button up the park. Frank and his crew have been doing some cement work, some fencing work, some painting, and we've taken down all the ropes from the lifeguards. We're putting them away. We're pretty much well on our way to closing the park. During the month of August, the Pond Lake Company, as Linda said, they met with the staff. I wasn't able to make that meeting, but these aerators can become a very important part of solving the problem of this algae, and we need to take a look. So far, we've gotten about 3 or 4 estimates of aerators, and to different degrees, more powerful than the others, drawing water in from the side rather than from the bottom. Our problem right now is that our aerators go too far down into the pond, and they get full of gunk. And the manpower we have to use to clean them every day might be able to be alleviated with some new aerators, and we would probably get some money they would buy our old aerators and put that toward the new aerators. So that's a thought. Bill Lawyer, who probably will discuss this a little later regarding a diseased portion of a large tree, it was treated, and we're waiting to see if this tree can survive.
What about all that talk about dead days in August? Did those occur?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they do. August, if you remember, I had made a proposal to possibly lower,
Yeah, right.
but it slacks off in August for a number of reasons, and we just thought by giving it a little jump, we might be able to attract some more people. But overall, we're 30,000 or whatever it is, 37,000 ahead of last year to this date. So I think that's pretty good, and I congratulate the supervisors, the staff supervisors, for coming in way under budget for personnel, which was something that both Commissioner Sach and Commissioner French, all 5 of you, were pushing. So that's a day-to-day project. That's feet on the ground. That's Terry coming in telling me there's too many people here. That's Joe coming to tell me we need more security, and we meet once a week and we go over all these things, and we constantly are tweaking our personnel, and we got all our good coverage. Complaints have been to a minimal. The only area that's still controversial is the dog area, and hopefully we're waiting to find a solution there through our research, meaning the Commission's research. So overall, my staff really did a great job this year, and I'm very proud of them, and we're moving forward.
Wonderful. Any comments from the commissioners?
Just one, which is thanks, Fred, for all your good work, and Joe, I'm glad you took the jinx off there with the meeting the budget. But I would say the incentive to break even is that then, therefore, the city of Rye could potentially use the money that we've already budgeted for a loss and apply it towards some capital costs. So that's actually the incentive here, I think.
Beautiful. That's great.
Not that I can speak for my colleagues, although some people may do that, but I'm not going to do that. But that's definitely a possibility if we have extra money.
That would be wonderful. Well, listen. Sorry, any other comments? I just want to thank the staff again. Terrific year. I didn't get down there as much as I would have liked to this summer. Usually I'm down there with the family. But, thanks for all your hard work, Terry, Joe, Fred, Frank, Bill. Great job. Let's get real close to that, beat the budget by as much as we can. Let's beat that budget by as much. Bill, please. Yep.
The big thing next weekend is the triathlon, which I think most of you are familiar with. Starts with the delivery of the big tent to be set up on Thursday. The rest of the setups on Friday. The events are on Saturday. They've got 2 children's races on Saturday, plus the whole expo. Then Sunday is the big day with the race. Obviously, we have our fingers crossed with the weather because it's going to be a lot better if the weather's good. But they have had it in pouring rain, so it's going to be rain or shine. We have had many meetings in the last few weeks with the triathlon staff, and we're having one more tomorrow to go over the logistics. As you know, this year we have agreed that they are paying us a fee of $2,500 towards the use of the park and the staff time that they put in during the day. They're going to pay extra for overnight security. So I know that the staff is going to be very diligent to note any problems or damage, especially if the weather's bad and it rains a lot. Then you can get damage to the lawn and stuff like that. So we'll be on top of that. But we certainly hope everybody will come. If the weather's good, it's a beautiful event. People have a great time. And the other thing I was just going to mention is, as far as the sort of the extras that we've done this year, the tango program, although it's not bringing in huge amounts of money, it's been held just about every week except during rain, and starting back in the end of May, so it's going on through September.
I think we have the distinction of being one of the top tango parks in New York State.
Yes, you can say that. Yes, it takes 2 to tango. So anyway, we have the tango thing going on, and another free program that's coming up on Saturday the 29th of September, which may be very timely given the storm we're having now, is a program that Fraser Paymiller, who's the arborist for the tree company that we've dealt with a lot and the friends have dealt with, he's going to be doing a free program on tree selection and management for homeowners at the park at 10 o'clock on Saturday the 29th. So if you know of anybody who's considering putting up some new trees or what to do with the trees they already have in their yards, it would be a great opportunity to come, and he's going to be using the park to demonstrate those types of things.
Oh, wonderful. What time is that?
That's at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Beautiful.
There will be coffee and bagels.
Wonderful.
Did you put that on the town website as well? I mean, how do you publicize that kind of?
I sent it out to the media, so it's should be.
We should have it on the website.
Actually, they should have it because they get the cable TV people get our press releases.
Okay.
Great. Well, Bill, thanks for trying to bring all these different activities to the park.
I have a
Please.
quick question. We were talking about the issue that still is ongoing with dogs in the park. What was it, 2 years ago, we had the trial about having dogs on the beach in the winter, and I think that people think that that is the policy, but that is not the policy. So I just want to reiterate that. That was trial, what was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago, very quickly.
Well, with Steve Otis, was Steve Otis
Was it
his
3
last
years
year?
ago?
Yeah,
Was it the
Steve's
3
last
years?
year.
But,
I
excuse
think
me?
We did.
Was it last year?
Well, we did it with Steve Otis one year, and then we stopped, and I think we did do it again last year. Well, in fact, actually, that's what you anticipated my same question. There's 2 questions I wanted to ask. I want to make sure we're all set for year-end transition of personnel and all that. Sounds like things are on track.
Yep.
And so then on November 1st, well, first of all, actually, just to make clear, the beach gates stay open, correct?
Yes, as of last year, yes.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I like to see. So those sunny days, everybody knows you can go down, and then, okay, so the beach gates can stay open. Now, obviously, you're swimming at your own risk, because there's no lifeguards when's our last day for lifeguards?
It was.
Oh,
This past Sunday.
all right, so last Sunday, so you're swimming on your own at your own risk?
Signs on every entrance.
Signs on every, beautiful, okay. So that's nice, and then I think last year we essentially turned over, well, we have no staff from November 1st, correct?
That's correct. October
And
31st is.
So October 31st, and so what we did last year, Mayor Feinstein, was that basically the park is effectively monitored by the city of Rye. There's no longer any presence of Rye Town Park personnel. And so I think then, so that decision about the beach was really a Rye City decision. I think we turned it over to them. I don't know if you remember
No,
Commissioner Sach.
I do remember that, and I guess what we should probably do is, just like we should inquire as to whether there were any issues with the cancer walk, we should inquire as to what, if any, issues there were with keeping the beach gates open all winter. So I'll ask about that, and maybe by the next meeting I can
Yeah, so at
Talk
the next,
Walking gates.
the October meeting, we should effectively almost not have a transfer, but,
Walking
you know,
gates is closed.
I think we need to talk about the fact that, you know,
Never closed at night?
I'm perfectly happy for Rice City to make decisions from November 1st. I don't know, Mayor Feinstein,
Keep the outside open.
you know, I'm prepared to defer to them since they're effectively running the park from November 1st till, when do we back open, April 1st?
Well, possession is 9/10 of the law, Joe, so if we get a hold of it, we may not give it back, but...
Asking when the beach is going to be available for dogs, and basically we're telling them that's not one.
Well, I think that we'll have to talk about that next meeting, and I think it's really, as I said, I'm perfectly happy, I don't know how the other commissioners feel, to leave that to make it a Rice City decision, because effectively it's a Rice City issue, it's Rice City residents are, and so, but I don't know if the other commissioners are happy to do that or not, from November 1st till March 31st. Yeah, Joe?
Problem with that is that it runs over into the season.
Right.
And when you allow the dogs on the beach during the winter, they believe that it's an all-season thing. So we've had a large problem with the residents this year with dogs on the beaches. Actually, one was issued a summons this year who was very irate and actually screamed at the officer who was on duty that it was okay for him to run on the beach.
Right.
I guess it's too...
If you allow that, we're going to deal with the same situation next year.
Well, I think that
And as of last month, what we've had was...
why don't you come up to, you should probably come up to the mic, sorry.
Sorry. As of the end of last month, all we've had is about 200 or 300 dogs in the park. We've been calling the police officers constantly, Ride PD constantly,
Oh, what happens?
and they just
Wait,
don't
200, 300 dogs off leash?
off leashes
When is
throughout
that?
the day. I mean, you can go there tomorrow morning, you'll find at least 50 dogs early in the morning. You'll find another 20, 30 dogs throughout the day. So this is all week
Well,
long.
actually, all right, so let's, you know, Commissioner Sach, unfortunately, Mayor French is not here, but what we discussed, I think it was either the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, was that Rice City was going to look at enforcement. I'm
Yeah, I
sure-
saw an email.
Well, they
from-
actually come every time we call.
Well, they were going to come up with a strategy for, you know,
Right, we did a graph on the times where the dogs were most off the leash.
Yeah, I don't know what conversation he's had with our police commissioner. I saw that he said he was going to do that. But I guess two separate issues. One is keeping the beach and the park open
Right.
during the winter, and then now we're kind of also talking about dogs. So,
well, I
somewhat
guess
related,
the
but-
thing is, I think that, well, it sounds to me the dog issue was never resolved this
It was
summer.
never resolved. no.
Okay, and that's unfortunate. And the good news is we're heading off-season, and so ultimately, it's unfortunate it's never resolved, but it gives us time to come up with a solution
Correct.
for next year. I'm perfectly happy to let Rice City do whatever the heck they want between November 1st and March 31st. That's up to Rice City. I hear what you're saying in terms of it engenders a feeling.
The fallout.
But what we need to do is make absolutely certain, Mayor Feinstein, Commissioner Sach, and Commissioner Salanitro, we have an absolute ironclad policy that's going to be adhered to with real enforcement come April 1st. It's disappointing to me that we haven't solved this problem. Extremely disappointing, quite frankly. And Joe, I know you and your staff have taken a lot of abuse, and I think
Correct.
that's unfortunate and unfair. And so, Commissioner Pilla, said he's going to prohibit dogs being in the park if the policy is not respected. Now, we left it to Mayor French to solve the problem and enforce, and it doesn't sound like that happened, which is unfortunate as well. Obviously, he's not here. So we're moving into off-season. I think what we need to does anybody on the commission want to, be detached to a dog, a committee or something and follow up with the city of Rye? or should we just have staff follow up?
I mean, to be fair...
So hold on, pardon me. Mayor Feinstein, would you have an interest in doing, I know you got a million things on your plate. Last thing you want is, but I think that, I could talk to Mayor Pillow, but we just haven't, it's unfair to staff to let this thing fester. The good news is we have till next April really now to solve it. We're not going to try and pull back. So did you say you've been working with Rye Police, or you haven't been working with Rye Police?
No, Rye Police